This week on Gran Turismo, I take avoiding action in Daily Race A. Daily Race B, I go for one of my cheekiest moves I've ever done in Gran Turismo. And in Daily Race C, it's a Moses maneuver down the middle. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Gran Turismo Weekly Race Guide here in 2025. Week number 5, and we've got a bit of an interesting week this week. First up in the background, you are seeing a very heavily tuned Civic. Specifically, it's the RCR Garage Civic, so lots of horsepower, lots of understeer in there. Now we're doing 4 laps at Watkins Glen, if you didn't recognise the circuit in the background. It's a full circuit. The rolling start, sports soft tyres, and bot is on. However, you can change, obviously, the livery on the car. Max Power did report that a change of tyres in terms of wheel size does cause issues with this car. That's something I potentially will test this week as well, so do keep an eye out for that. Now, some of you, in fact, a large portion of you will hate this car with a passion, so there are some timestamps there to jump to Daily Race B or C respectively to enjoy some Group 4 or Group 3 action, which we've got this week in those daily races. However, we do all of them, so we'll jump into some key statistics here for Watkins Glen and Daily Race A. We've used this track 12 times. We've never done this car and track combo, although I did think we had, but maybe it's a different circuit. We last used Watkins Glen on the 9th of December. Now, in terms of issues, huge understeer in this car. You really have to feather the throttle on exits. And there can be some track limit issues because of the understeer. You know, if you're understeering off, you're going to run out wide and go over those white lines. Penalties will ensue. Without further ado then, let's jump into this race and let's have a look at exactly what happens because, in fact, we have quite a good race. Right, who is in this first one? We've got Mr. Rona in pole, Shelty P2, and for you folks, there's Penny in the background. Right, let's jump into this race then. Penny joining us for this one, right behind my big head right now. Okay, we're going to head down towards turn number 1 then. I would short shift straight away at the start there because you're going to hit the rev limiter quite quickly. And as we go into here, no drama really, everyone's in equal spaces, so just make sure you make the corner and you will be absolutely fine. I will talk about the brake markers in the lap guide at the end of this particular race. Right, in towards the left-hander we go. Then Max Power just up ahead. Blue Racer goes slightly wide in the blue car. You didn't recognise Blue Racers in this race. You can buy that colour car. We head towards this right-hander. Then we got Sammy Snake Racing behind here as well. And as we go into here, everybody slows it down nicely. And you can see they're adjusting the throttle constantly there just to avoid that understeer because I don't want to understeer into Max Power as we continue on with this race. Sammy Snake Racing gets a real big boost there. So potentially stayed in 4th gear, which gave that big advantage. As we go into this right-hander, Sammy Snake goes down that inside, looking to get this move done. And side-by-side action here. Again, be careful on the exit there. Gives me just enough room there. Beautiful racing as we head in towards this left-hander. Slowing the car down to 2nd gear here. Still side by side. Good stuff. Slight bit of contact. Nothing major there. Huge amount of space on that right-hand side. And what I'm going to do is lift off here and fall into line as I don't want to lose too much time to the cars ahead. And, you know, you have to race like this sometimes. Race smart. And you can actually achieve better positions by giving up 1, having the opportunity to actually fight for 2 more in the future of this race. We go through here then. Sonic now very close behind in the orange machine here as we go in towards turn number 1. I give some space on that inside line there as we continue on out here. Sonic just absolutely nails it there up into P6. We've lost another position right now. You don't see me lose positions very often. Well, I'm losing them right here. So we get a bit of a bump draft there from Jay-Z behind then as we go up here. Bump drafting Sonic heading towards the bus stop chicane. I highly advise you do that in terms of bump drafting to stay in touch with everybody else. Up ahead there, 3 wide. And what you're going to see here is Max Power hit the brakes a tiny bit there to fall in behind. Really smart racing there from Max Power, knowing that being 3 wide and being on the outside into the chicane is probably not going to survive. We continue on through here, still in the fight. So race action consistent on this 2nd lap when everyone catches up to each other from that rolling start. You see there, Sonic gets moved on Max Power. We're looking down the inside of Max Power here then. And there's a bit of contact there on the right-hand side with Jay-Z and Max Power. We'll have a look at that one in the bloopers. I did hear it in my headphones. But even so, we are now up into P6 once again with the fights continuing to happen all the way up this grid here. So down the inside of Sonic there. You notice the server there wiggled a little bit. It wiggled again there. I'm not sure whether there was netcode there. Sonic may be able to confirm in the comments. But even so, I didn't feel any touching on my side. So I did continue on with the racing. accelerating, because if you don't feel anything and just absolutely no contact there, you can't wait up for somebody in that situation. Oggy there on the outside just hits the barrier or clips it, maybe. Actually, maybe doesn't. Maybe just gets a poor run. Not too sure there. But we are up into P4 now, so we are finally making progress in this race as we head towards the last corner to start the penultimate lap here in Daily Race A. And the word penultimate, I actually learned from Formula 196 when Murray Walker was doing it. You know, pedal to the metal, flat out. Unfortunately, we're not flat out into turn one there. Jay-Z down the inside. Beautiful move. Really well executed there by Jay-Z. We drop back down to P5. So the end of that back straight, then in towards the chicane we go. Just slowing it down there. Jay-Z gets it slightly wrong. A little bit bumpy. Coming into here then. Slight tap between us two. Just sent my car off to the left, but I don't blame Jay-Z for that one. Jay-Z had nowhere to go. And I did try and sit left, and it was just the way ping pong and weight shifting happens in Gran Turismo. Right, lap number 4 then. We're back in the action here. We continue on through here. And notice that I understeered on throttle there, trying to catch up to the guys ahead. Unfortunately, because I went all 4 wheels over that line, I get 0.5 second penalty. So that's what I was talking about with the key issues you need to look out for. Understeering too early and just veering off there. Here we go. We come home in P6. Congratulations to Blue Racer who won that race. Some good racing that we had there. I do think that's going to be rare though in this race with lots of pushing out wide because of that understeer. Overall, it's got a 5 out of 10. All the details for these scores are going to be down below in a pinned comment. Do look out for them. And if you disagree, make sure you do put a comment there to say what you like or don't like. And remember, my point scoring is a bit solid. It's either 1 or 0 for the types of points that we do score. And towards turn 1 then, they've got the 300 board or the 3 going into 2 on the arm core on the left-hand side. Now, I would advise using the 300 and just braking just after it, okay? And what I would highly advise is drop into 3rd gear, and as you get towards the apex, then go into 4th gear. For some reason in Gran Turismo, the way the turbo spools, doing that actually gains you some acceleration. So you want to be in 4th gear to avoid the understeer, but the 3rd gear just allows that turbo to be spooled up a bit more, and you can exit out the corner. We continue on then in 5th gear. Just be careful of that understeer as you go up the hill. Turn in early to make sure you can flat it, because you can go flat up the hill. And as we approach the chicane, then the 300 board on the left-hand side is your brake marker. Now, when I started this time trial, and even in the race, I was using the 400 board, but I was trying to be cautious going into it. You can be quite aggressive on the brakes in this car. So 300, it's on the left-hand side, hit the brakes. We go into here, and we drop to 3rd gear just to get that tiny bit of rotation, then up to 4th to accelerate out to avoid some of that understeer. The start of the curb on the right-hand side there, that's your lift-off marker. Maybe you want to dab the brakes. It's entirely up to you if you feel you've got a bit too much overspeed. Maybe you nailed the chicane perfectly and you're carrying so much speed. We'll use that as your little brake marker or lift-off marker there on the right-hand side. Very obvious there. Notice here, I'm just slowing the car down a little bit. And what I'm looking for is this escape road, the very end of it. That's my accelerating marker. Alternatively, if you are struggling with that understeer, just wait a bit longer. Look out for the marshal box that says, I love New York. I think it says, I love New York on it. But even so, that marshal box is normally my accelerating marker, but I'm trying to be cheeky and go a bit early. It does say it. I do remember it as we continue on out. I did lift a little bit there to avoid understeer on the exit, because we saw in the race, I got a penalty for going too wide on that corner. The 200 board is the next marker here. What I want you to do is point towards the corner a little bit. So if you can point left a little bit, you'll notice I'm about to do that now. You can see that on the steering indicator. Point left a little bit, hard on the brakes, and I want you to drop a gear here down to 3rd gear. Again, similar to what we did earlier, I'm going to go up to 4th gear just to allow the car to not understeer on the exit, the 4th gear. And obviously, we've done a little bit with the turbo, so it helps. And it's literally using the center of that catch fence. When it gets to the center of your screen, say center of the catch fence, when the catch fence gets to the center of your screen, I will get my words out correctly eventually. That is your accelerating marker. And look, we made it absolutely fine. Stay in 4th gear here. No need to go to 5th gear. Even if you hit the limiter, it's absolutely fine. The 200 board on the left, you want to brake just after that. But on the right side, if you want to use the 100 board instead, it's just before it gets to the edge of your screen. Okay, these are 2 good markers here. Now, I actually brake a little bit early on this one, and you're going to see that. So I'm going to take a really tight line here. Don't quite go as tight as I do here. Just go out like maybe half a meter towards the left, because notice that I had to adjust, and that's actually going to compromise my exit in terms of acceleration. And I exit in 4th gear. Notice that there as well. 4th gear. It feels very low in the power band, but you don't get the gear delay change, and also it'll stop that understeer on the exit, because if you're in 3rd gear, it understeers like crazy. The 200 board is the next brake marker. It's just after it leaves the screen, in fact. That's on the left-hand side here, and you're going to come down a couple of gears once again. Again, we're just doing this turbo trick. It allows the car to rotate as well. We've actually gone down to 2nd gear, and we're going to go straight up to 3rd and then boost it out of the corner. Again, try to avoid going too wide because of those track limit penalties. As we go up here, you got 2 markers to use. You got the dead tree on the right, which is what I use quite often. Some people do question me on some of these markers, but trust me, it's very relevant. As it leaves the screen, I can hit the brakes. Or the 100 board. The 100 board is there if you want to use that as a bit of a distance marker. So you'll brake just before you get to the 100 board. And you want to aim towards the corner again, but don't go tight here. You want to wait until very late in the corner and then start accelerating. Normally, I use the marshal box in that corner. If you want to use it, feel free. I didn't use it once during this lap, so just keep that in mind in terms of an accelerating marker. I was more trying to make sure I didn't understeer. The 200 board on the right hand side is not a brake marker, it's a lift off marker. I want you to lift off as that leaves the screen and chuck it in. Chuck the car in, okay? And once you clip the curb, then start accelerating. So there we go, lifting, lifting, lifting. I clip the curb, I can then start accelerating. I do lift off a little bit more on the exit there because I was carrying a lot of speed there and I'm trying to avoid track limit penalties. The final marker is on the left-hand side. So we've got the tyre wall going into Armco. Literally brake just before you get to that. You're going to hit the brakes, stay in 4th gear, chuck it in, let the car roll a little bit. And if you can clip the curb, happy days, then you're going to start accelerating. Clip the curb, there we go, and I can boot it out. And that's what I'm waiting for there, the clip of the curb. We accelerate towards the line here then, and we're in 4th gear. We go to 5th, and that's a 54.9. And you can follow that ghost on the leaderboard, just look for that 154.915. We jump to daily race B then, where we're in Group 3 cars, GT3 cars at Interlagos. Autodrome de Interlagos. It's 5 laps. It's rolling start, racing medium tyres. Sort of the standard stuff here, really, with the brake balance being the only thing you can adjust. Now, in terms of car choice, lots of car choices here. The BOP used to be done here, in fact, at Interlagos back in GT Sports. So I do imagine that the balance of performance is going to be very close here. We've used this track 13 times, the track and car combo 6 times. It is a top 10 used combo, although we haven't used this in quite a while, and we last used this circuit on the 7th of October. Turn 1, you can suffer some oversteer, and it is hard to overtake in the middle section of the lap, just due to its tightness and slow speed corners. As you can see here, though, lots of overtaking happening, so let's jump into the race and find out exactly what happened. Here we are then at the start of this with a Porsche in pole, a Ferrari in P2, and I chose the Lamborghini, not because I'm insane, but because it's made this car safer to drive. Now, if you are enjoying this video, as always, give it a like, subscribe to the channel to stay in touch with all the latest content. It tells me you do enjoy this, and I will keep doing it every single week. We head towards turn 1 then. Obviously, rolling start does mean everyone stays slightly safe, although we've got a 4GT going out wide there. Want to take advantage of that, going on the inside of max power, but I get it all sorts of wrong, and I'm going to start losing positions very quickly. There's Sammy State Racing going by. Marasonic's gone by. Someone did spin back there. We'll have a look at that one in the bloopers. The Genesis on the right side there, so I did open up there. Give him a bit more space. It was Jay-Z then, as we go into this left-hander, and max power's going off the circuit there in the Audi R8. Arguably, I should pick the Audi R8, bearing in mind I love that car, and obviously you know my story and the history with Audi on this channel. If you're new, the R8 is obviously the car I really want and who I used to race for in the World Series Finals. We continue on through here then. We've got a Porsche on the left-hand side. That's Greenland just slowing up on that left-hand side as we go into the right-hand. And we're on the inside of that Ford GT. Marasonic up ahead on the inside of Jay-Z. We've got Forest 971 who featured in Plebs of the Week. However, we'll see how they go here. And as I go out of here, I make a very, 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 very cheeky move there down the inside. And we get the job done. So, I mean, fair play to everyone. And I will happily accept it was cheeky. But I'll look at that one in the bloopers as well. But we'll take it. We'll take it. I did just speak about Plebs of the Week. Obviously, that's a video series we've got going where we look at very dodgy driving. I will report purposeful punts, of course, where it's very obvious, clear they're just punting for no obvious reason. We also look at funny moments, dodgy penalties, all that good stuff. And you could submit your clips down below using the link in the description. So do check that out. And check out the video at the end of this one. Now, Jay-Z's just gone wide there, comes back onto the circuit at the exit of the Senna S. And unfortunately, for doing that, there was a slight tap into the corner, of course. Jay-Z gets a 2-second penalty. Now, in my head, I'm also thinking dirty tyres. Dirty tyres for the Genesis, which is an advantage that I really need to use. A disadvantage for Jay-Z, of course. So what I'm going to do is sort of look on the inside here and hope. And as we go into here, Jay-Z does go out wide, which is what I expected. And then I bring it back very nicely indeed. So there's no point going aggressive for it. Let them run wide if you do get dirt on their tyres. And just take full advantage of it. Exactly as I did there. I'm up into P9 now. Yes, they've got a penalty. Didn't want to fight it too hard. Don't want to lose too much time to the cars ahead. But just placing your car, knowing what was going to happen. I'm going to look on the inside. And I did. And that's how it worked out. Fortunately, a slight tap into that corner. Just a mistake there from Jay-Z, I imagine, as we continue on through here in P9. FG Flash up ahead, racing a part of TCR as well. We send it down the inside here. It was a send and a half. We did manage to get it stopped, but I will tell you now, I thought I was going to hit Mario Sonic. Now, we've got somebody else who's spanned there. We'll look at that one in the bloopers. Bembo's all sorts of sideways up ahead as well. Very, very, very active race here as we continue on. Bembo there gets a 1 second penalty. I think they're hitting the barrier maybe. I don't know. But continues on. And if you actually look in that rear view, Bembo goes towards the right-hand side there. So I'm not sure what's going on. Again, something we'll have a look at the bloopers at the end of this video. We advance towards the start of the final lap here. Then Mario Sonic up ahead, looking for the move on Pill. So Ferrari versus Porsche. And as we go into here, does he get stopped? Yes, indeed. Mario Sonic does get the move done. Pill goes wide, gives some space for Mario Sonic as well. As we continue on through here, it just holds us up a little bit. And look who's behind me. Yes, Max Power has returned in that Audi R8 after that unfortunate exit towards the right on lap number 1. Lap number 5, Max Power's back in the game, and that's why you should never give up as well. Spin into this left-hander. I sort of half send it here. I actually broke really early and still made it on the inside. Pill gave me plenty of space. Fair play to you there. Real fair play, because it can be quite frustrating when somebody sends it and then they're actually breaking really early themselves as well. We head up here then. Max Power looking to try and get round me now. I'd always advise defending on the inside into this corner. The reason for that is because it's very hard then to get the cut back. Max Power's trying it right here, but as long as you stay on the apex, it's really hard for somebody to do that. Again, for this left-hander, it's very much the larger radius corner in terms of a long left-hander, 180. Staying on the inside there works. I stay towards the inside for this corner. Going around the outside here doesn't work. Never really does, unless somebody goes really slow or gets a weird bump mid-corner. So we maintain P5 right now. We're just defending from that Audi R8. We go through here. Mario Sonic had a bit of an oversteer moment there, but we fast forward towards the line there where we are looking to catch the Ferrari, but we don't quite make it there. Finishing in P5. So we had a good fun race there. Lots of action. A little bit of carnage there. So do expect that this week, in my opinion, from this race. I've given this race 5.5 this time round. Again, all the details are down below, but it's not a new combo, which is the unfortunate one. And this race needs to be longer. At least 1 lap longer, if not 2. There's the lap guide then. I already had one of these, and then I've made another one. So you've got this one now, which is a new one. On the right side, you got these grey stairs there. Very hard to see. Just after the 100 board, use that. Now, in the race, you've got red canopies. It's the second red canopy on the left-hand side. But those stairs, you can see them here on chase cam as well. Really good brake marker. So try and keep an eye out for them. Look into that grandstand, and you can stop like this. The second gear, as we go towards the right, lift off a little bit through that center S. If you're flat out, it will spin you out. And as we go through the left-hander, it's then flat out towards the right. That was a poet. I didn't even know it there. Look at that. We continue on now towards the end of sector 1. Center S, really difficult to get right. That slight lift is critical for that corner though, so do keep that in mind. As we get to this left-hander, we've got the green Marshall box there, or the 100 board, or the end of the wall. There's many brake markers to use here. It's all on the right-hand side. Just pick one. But we're going to hit the brakes. Now, I'd advise not going down too many gears for this one. In the Lamborghini specifically, I only go to 3rd gear, and that's just to make sure I stay stable. You could argue 2nd gear is better, but 3rd gear is stable, and you're after stability initially for this one, especially if you're getting up to practice. Highly recommend you just stay in slightly higher gears. As we continue on the left-hand side there, we've got the Marshall box. So hit the brakes, and what we want to do is a apex, then go out a bit, and then an apex. It's a double apex corner, this one, okay? So you can see where the Marshall box is on the left-hand side in terms of chase cam. So I want to clip the curb initially on the inside. If I do that, there we go. I go out a little bit, down the brake a bit more, and then I start accelerating once to hit it. I didn't quite get there, so I've run out a little bit wider than normal. But as long as you can get very close to both those, you've nailed the corner. Now, we've got these eyebrow tire marks on Interlagos. So this is what I use as a brake marker. Distance this time, so you can see I'm braking right now in terms of this one. The car may oversteer a little bit, so just be careful as you come down the gears. And I want to go over towards the right-hand side. You can cut that corner quite a lot, so I highly recommend, if you can cut it a bit more, do that. On the left-hand side there, the start of the curve for this long left-hander. That is your dab of the brakes for this one. Now, some people in some cars will drop to 1st gear here. Some people will stay in 2nd gear. It's entirely up to you. Of course, if you go down the gears, you've got weight transfer issues. I stay in 2nd on this particular lap. And what I'm looking for here is that dark green on the inside of the curve there. That's my accelerating marker. I want to start accelerating before I get to that. I can see it. Start accelerating. You should get around the corner absolutely fine, but you can't see the exit, so you're not 100% sure. That's why I point out that marker, and look at that. Happy days, no real issues. Some cars will suffer some power oversteer there, so just be careful. As we get to this right-hander, you got the left-hand side, you got the green AstroTurfies, I don't know what it is. On the right, we've got the start of the curb. Either of these markers, absolutely perfect, okay? We should brake in a straight line. Brake in a straight line. Don't try and turn and brake. You'll have issues. And start to release the brakes. Look at that. The car wants to turn them. There's a bump on the exit there. You're going to have to be very careful of it on acceleration, but try and be aggressive on throttle there in the Lamborghini, especially as you'll get round and it'll actually gain you quite a bit of time. Slight lift through the fast left, I did right there. And then what we're looking for the final brake marker is the cross in the catch fence on the right-hand side. Very obvious when you're racing. Not so obvious on chase cam, but it is definitely still there. I'm braking just before I get to that on the right-hand side in terms of the edge of my screen. I clip the curb on the inside and accelerate out. I actually did that corner really slow on this particular lap. Yeah, every other lap, I was near the that corner and failing everywhere else. Even so, you can follow this ghost if you want to. 130.266. Go to that time on the leaderboard. My ghost will be right there, and you can click load ghost. We jump to daily race C then, where I'm in another Lamborghini, the Huracan Group 4 car. We're doing 13 laps at Deep Forest Raceway, the forward layout. It's another grid start with a false start check, so they're trying this out. Racing soft tyres with a mandatory pit stop, ×1 fuel, ×3 tyre wear, and it's only all-wheel drive specifically for this one in Group 4. No idea why they've done this. It seems very odd, and you can adjust the brake balance. We've used this track 12 times, 4 times for this combo, and we last used this track on the 28th of October, apparently, although it feels like we use it every other week in terms of Deep Forest. Issues, it's the same as last week, really. Grip equals door banging, so there's going to be some very close racing action for this one, really is. And hairpin, you are going to see sends and sends and sends. So just keep an eye out, look on your rear view, keep an eye on your radar. If someone sends it, just back out a little bit, let them go deep and go on the inside. Without further ado then, let's jump into this one and let's see how I get on. All right, the final race we've got Aris in pole. Another Plebs of the Week feature there as well. Again, have a look at that one at the end of this video. False start check is on, so hold the handbrake. It's the best way to do it. And then full throttle. You don't need traction control on. I did try it, but yeah, it's... No need for it. Let's put it that way. Here we go. We boost it off. I turn it off. And Genesis gets a very good start behind. The Veyron's not too bad at starting either. We were obviously standard with all the other Lamborghinis. The Genesis, one to look out for on this start lap on the grid. So as we go into turn number 1, or twirn, I don't know what twirn is, but we're 2-3 wide here. And look at this as we go up here. Very interesting stuff. You can see my smile there because I can see what's going to happen. Side by side lap number 1 is very difficult to get right, so I'm expecting lots of crashes here this week, if I'm honest with you, because it's very hard to judge, especially going into this right-hander. There's a crash behind. Look at that one in the bloopers. We're still side by side with the Veyron of Sammy Snake as we go into this right-hander. I think Sammy's got a YouTube channel as well, which you can check out as we continue on through here. I remember reading your email, Sammy. I've not had a chance to respond to emails yet, so do bear with me. Remember, emails really for business only, folks. I can't really respond to all emails. If you want to contact me, Discord. Message me on Discord or in the YouTube comments. I do respond to YouTube comments. You can message me there or Discord and I will respond in due course. It takes me a little bit of time, just with my full-time job and stuff. Right, let's get back into this race. And we're bump drafting the Veyron at the moment because it's a little bit quick on a straight line. We did gain a position there as well as we head towards the hairpin. And this is where it gets sketchy, especially on lap 1, with everyone being so close here. And I was just hit the brake a little bit earlier, just trying to judge accordingly where everyone's going to be. And as we go into this left, that's where the Veyron really struggles. Look at this. I just get on the inside and go. The weight transfer of this Lamborghini is insane in that hairpin, and that's where the advantage is. In the morning, I actually started using the Veyron. I was like, oh, okay, you know, it's a bit more stable in certain places, but oh my word, it's terrible. Speaking of terrible, what is that brake intage? Nearly rear-ended Jay-Z. Fortunately, I took avoiding action and didn't, and Sammy Snake coming back through in that Veyron. So lap number 2, it's side-by-side action again. And this is why I really like this race. This is a really good race, in my opinion. Yes, we've used Deep Forest lots of times, but it's a really good race as we go through this right-hander. Sound bug still exists, as I talked about in a previous video. But as we go into this right-hander, look, it's good racing. And the great thing is, with the strategy of a pit stop and 13 laps, there is actually some decent strategy and racing to be had combined here. Do you want to get slipstream and, you know, hopefully accelerate your times? Or do you want to pit early, get out the traffic and hopefully undercut everybody? Maybe you want to overcut people as well. Really good that we've got this sort of race on the cards this week. As JC's got a penalty, Blu-ray's got a penalty. I go down the middle there. Look at that. Moses maneuver and a half. And we do get it stopped here as we go into the hairpin. Somebody's out wide there. I can't actually see the name of that person. I'm on a very tiny screen right now. As we continue on out of here, there they are. It's Piscuri. And Sammy Snake keeping that Veyron there. We've got Blue Racer on my right-hand side here. Very close as we continue on towards the start finish rate. I just get ahead there, so I want to get in that slipstream to avoid Blue Racer getting full advantage of that as we head towards turn number 1. The Veyron goes past. I'm looking to go past too, but I'm still on that inside here, so I'm going to just send it a little bit here. I know I can make this corner. There we go. Literally planting it on that curb. And as we leave this corner, once again, we are side by side with Sammy Snake. Now, I short shift here to let Sammy Snake go because I didn't want to waste too much time and wanted to catch the group ahead. So Sammy Snake goes by Bembo here. And as we go to the hairpin, remember what happened on lap 1? Well, we're going to try and do the same thing here. Go on that inside. I nearly got rear-ended there. I just noticed that. I didn't notice that in the race, but even so, we are through there, up into P8. Now, I've actually got a good run on the GTR here of Bembo as well, who goes towards the left-hand side. I'm going towards the right here. Now, I don't want to leave too much of a gap in the middle there because I was wondering whether Sammy Snake would go for it. So I'll let Sammy Snake go towards the outside. I should have the advantage here, being in the Lamborghini Huracan. They wanted to call it a Lamborghini Veyron then. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? And we do catch up to the pack ahead. Notice the leaders haven't really pulled away here either. And this shows you why this race is so good. Everyone stays very close. Everyone's having a good race here. Yes, mistakes happen and you'll fall off, but then you can come back as well. Mascapi there with a 0.5 second penalty. I get a bit of a bump draft there from the Veyron behind, so we should have advantage here going up into P6. There we go. And what is the Veyron going to do? Veyron goes to the bump draft. Really smart racing there, actually. Max Power's got a penalty. We're going to go on the inside of Max Power here, so that's another position gained. But, of course, with the Lamborghini being so good at the hairpin, it made sense for the Veyron to do that. Unfortunately, they're going to get stuck behind Max Power here, and we just bolt like nobody's business. Now, Mario Sonic is up ahead. We advance a lap later. Hopefully, you spotted that merge. In that previous lap, all I did was bump draft, and Mario Sonic defended a little bit. This lap is the lap I wanted to go for the move. I wanted to just get away from everybody else. And this lap, I'm like, okay, maybe Mario Sonic will think I'm not going to go for the move again. Now I go towards the left-hand side here, and we're on the inside for turn number 1. So I go down that inside. We look to slow the car down. Still side by side here, but a long left-hander does mean we should get the advantage on the exit. Mario Sonic is still there. Star Power on the side of that Lamborghini. As we go into this right-hander, though, very hard to go side by side. Mario Sonic backs out of it, and we are now up into P4. We go to lap 7. So I did catch up to them. I was going to pit on lap 6, but I had a 1.5 second gap to P3. You can see I've caught that up now. Half a second up on my previous fastest lap, actually. So it shows you there is still some time there, even at the end of the tyre life. As we go through here, then, we're going to continue towards the pit lane. Now, Huggy up ahead wants to go in the pits, decides against it. I go in the pits. This is lap number 7. This is where that choice happens, okay? Now, do I change tyres? Yes, I do in this situation. It's around halfway, so it's best to do that, in my opinion. You don't necessarily have to change tyres because the leader, the Greek driver, is actually going to go all the way to the end of the race and not change tyres. The question is, does he do it? Well, we're about to find out as we go into turn number 1. Safe and sound, clean air. Well, I win this race, but the Greek driver did not change tyres and comes home in... Oh, actually, maybe got mugged at the end there. Comes home in P3, but very close fights there. And it shows you different strategies. You can pit on any lap you like. You can change tyres whenever you like. You don't have to change tyres. It's good. And believe it or not, that's a 9 out of 10 from me. So I'll put all the details down below. Arguably, it's probably even a 9.5. It's very close. But if it was wet weather there, I'd argue that would make it a 10. That really would. So people keep asking me, what's a 10? We're very close to it with this race this week, in my opinion. So the start of the lap, 100 board on the right side, is your brake marker for turn number 1. When you get very close to that, hit the brakes. Now, for this one, you actually do want to go quite tight. You can V it in some cars. The Veyron actually prefers a V, but the Lamborghini is definitely the better car. So you see that? Keep it tight. I'm on the curve for quite a while. I'm looking for the orange painted barrier ahead. That is my accelerating marker. So as that gets closer to the center, the more and more you should be on throttle. I'm obviously going to try and do this very early, and that's what I'm doing right now. Weirdly, this is only my first few laps in the Lamborghini properly, and yeah, I was flying. So yeah, you're seeing this right now. We continue on up here. We go towards the left-hand side. And on that left-hand side, you got this fencing that appears. This wooden fencing or concrete. I don't even know what it is. The fence. And literally, you want to start turning when that gets to the edge of your screen. Now, you can do this flat. I highly advise you lift a little bit, if I'm honest with you. But you can do this flat. You can try it flat if you want to. And that's what we're going to do there. A slight lift. And notice I'm trying to carry the speed. Now, for this corner, the grass goes to concrete on the left-hand side. I want you to hit the brakes. I actually want you to abuse the concrete a little bit here. Remember, you have to stay on the red and white curbing, so keep that in mind. But as you go into this left-hander, make sure you abuse a little bit on the left. And that'll give you a nice run for the right. So we go over there and then drop a gear over towards the right-hand side. And we can really full throttle it. Because it's racing soft tyres, there is so much grip. So I just opened up the corner a little bit using that concrete, and it just benefited me so much. Now, the end of the tunnel here, where the end of the concrete is, or the end of the curb there, that is your brake marker for this long right-hander. So as that leaves your screen, hit the brakes. You want to trail brake for this one. So it's not hard braking, it's just trail braking, slowing the car down. And what I'm always looking for here is the red sign above the tunnel. The second I start seeing that, I want to accelerate. You can see I've just got on the accelerator now, down at the bottom. So when I see that, I want to go. Now for chase cam, you can't necessarily see that, but you can see the Armco. So use the end of the Armco at the start of the tunnel over there, and it's the same sort of thing. Don't go all four wheels off the circuit on that particular point. You'll get a track limit penalty using all the green stuff. Now as we go to this fast left-hander, this is where the Lamborghini can get a little bit sideways. So just be careful of this. So as the curb comes into the circuit the most, or that pickup truck on the left-hand side, you want to dab the brakes and chuck it in, okay? You can't see the corner yet, but turn left as you go over this. And notice here, I can clip the inside and just accelerate through the corner. Really aggressive. There's so much time in that corner, so just keep that in mind. There's also a lot of time in this corner. So on the left-hand side, there's a big stone. You can use to start the bridge that I've highlighted right in the center of your screen, but that stone on the left, as it disappears off your screen, hit the brakes. I found I could brake really late for this corner in the Lamborghini. So that's what I'm going to do here. I turn in, I clip the curb, and then I just bolt. This Lamborghini loves to rotate, and I do it right there. Now, as long as you stay on the red and white curbing, like I'm showing right here, it's a valid lap. So you can see I've abused a lot of the track limits there, but I'm allowed because it's on the red and white curbing. So that is what I'm going to do here. What we will do now is fast forward all the way towards the hairpin. Now the hairpin is pretty straightforward here. What we're looking for is to start the catch fence. You can use a 100 board as well, but I always find that's a little bit too late in terms of any car. But to start the catch fence there, really obvious, really clear brake marker. Now you want to stay towards the right-hand side as much as possible. It's very easy to turn in too early for this hairpin. It happens a lot. I have that bad habit sometimes as well. So this side, we stay right. We then come across here, and the weight shift in the Lamborghini on that little indent on the hairpin allows it to just boot out the corner. So the second you get to the inside of the corner, bolt, and you've gone, and there's a 131.641, which you can also follow on the leaderboards. Right, we're on board the Civic then. This is Jay-Z on max power. How bad was this and this bit of contact? Oh, it's a small bit of contact there. I would argue you need to wait up for that one, Jay-Z, because you just hit the brakes a little bit late, and that forced max power off. Right, daily race B. So we had one incident in daily race A, apparently. So coming into this left-hander, what happens here? We've got the Jaguar of Sly, and... I'm not sure whether there was contact there or not with Hoggy. That's a weird one. I'm not sure whether that's full throttle or contact. Not too sure. We go a bit further on in lap number 1. This is max power. So going into here, what happens here? Max power brakes late. Oh, look at that. Good sportsmanship, max power. Sees they're going to hit the 4GT and just bolts right. Really fair play. Really fair play indeed. So we're on board Greenland here as we go in towards the right. It's where Donald Trump wants to be, isn't it? I made the same joke twice. Yes, I realise that. Just letting everyone go here. Not sure what's going on. Maybe didn't want to be in all the action. So here's my very cheeky move. There, we've got Ken on the inside. There's Forrest. And I'm on the curbing and I'm on the white line. So I just make this work. Now, would that be valid in real life? I don't know. But in Gran Turismo rules, it is. So cheeky, but I'll take it. And fair play to Forrest there. Gave me some room as well. So yeah, fair play to you. As we go into this left-hander, slight contact between Sammy Snake and Jay-Z. A bit of a weird one, to be honest with you. Just a racing incident, I would say. Now, Jay-Z tried to gain advantage from that, using the whole idea of contact means no penalty. Did get a penalty there, though. So we're on the chopped Porsche. Look at that, the Mighty Car Mod sticker. Right, and into the barrier they go. So they just bottled it there, P2. That's unfortunate. And it reminds me when I did meet one of the guys from Mighty Car Mods. Here we go on board Ben. Yeah, what happened to Benbow, actually? This is very good. There's the chopped Porsche again. So through the right we go, and over towards the left. So Benbow's fine right now. Keeps going left. Oh, yeah, just clips the barrier. Very odd. But is Benbow distracted by something? I'm pretty sure Benbow must be distracted here because it goes towards the right-hand side here to get out of the way of everybody. Yeah, maybe so. Benbow will be able to confirm in the comments if he wants to. Right, we go to Daily Race C here. We're on board Shelty. As we go into this left-hander, what happens here? Oh, it's the smallest of contacts. That's unfortunate. But Shelty's going to do the awesome sportsman-like thing here and wait up for Steve-O. Well played there, Shelty. We're on board Sammy Snake here. This is lap number 5. So takes a penalty in the middle of the road there, but nowhere to go with so many cars around them. So they come back towards the racing line. And so Benbow, I think, hit the brake a little bit early there, trying to avoid the Lamborghini. And that actually scared Sammy Snake Racing. And that's just another racing incident there. So Benbow was trying to avoid the car in front. This is the Greek driver, by the way. They didn't change tyres. You can see that in the bottom left-hand side. They had to run towards the line here as well. That's how Hoggy robbed that position as we continue towards there. And the GTR was there, but maybe had a penalty as well. Now, if you did enjoy this video, give it a like and subscribe to the channel. One thing I will say is I'm very confused with limiting this to all-wheel drive only. Bearing in mind the Lamborghini is already meta, but hey, it is what it is. Gran Turismo do very strange things. Now, what I'd advise you to do is watch Plebs of the Week there on the left-hand side. Check out those partners down below. Use code Tidgney at checkout for GT Amiga for a discount as well. I also get a kickback. Thank you so much for watching as always, and I hope to see you in another video or live stream again very soon.